boy lived in one city. He loved to read very much, and his mother gave him a big book of fairy tales for his birthday. There were many amazing stories about kings, knights, wizards, and magical creatures in this book. The boy really enjoyed reading these stories. He especially liked the fairy tale about the apprentice boy who built a flying machine to escape from the sorcerer's dungeon and forged a copper doll that was almost impossible to distinguish from a human, only instead of blood, oil flowed in her veins. Once a journeyman boy even saved the prince from death. He made glasses out of blue glass to see death creeping up and lured death into a trap while the royal doctor sewed a new heart on the prince. The boy also wanted to become the hero of a fairy tale. He had a set of colored glasses, and in this set, one glass was blue. The boy carried a blue glass with him, looked into it for a long time to see death, but death rarely walks the streets. We have to wait until someone dies, the boy thought. But no one died, and the boy forgot about the blue glass until one day his friend's grandfather died. The boy took the blue glass and went to visit a friend. "Can I see your grandfather?" the boy asked his friend. A friend took the boy to a room where there was a coffin on the table, and a dead old man was lying in the coffin. The boy took out a blue glass and looked into it. At first he saw nothing, but then it seemed to him that a blue cat was sitting on the chest of the dead man. But it wasn't a cat. It was a creature with long and thin arms like a spider. It tore off the petals from a flower that grew right out of the mouth of a dead person and ate them. Maybe a flower is a soul, and so death takes his soul, thought the boy. But suddenly death turned his head and looked straight at the boy. The boy remembered that in the fairy tale from the book, it was said that you can't look at death for a long time. The boy quickly removed the glass, but still managed to see how death stood on his long arms, which turned out to be legs. He also managed to see that death had a huge beak on his face and blue holes instead of eyes. Death is like a blind blue bird, the boy thought, and then something hit him and he fell into blackness. When the boy opened his eyes, it turned out that he was in the hospital. Mom was sitting next to me and she was very scared. She told the boy that he had a seizure and was taken to the hospital. And the doctors were also afraid that he would not wake up. The boy wanted to tell his mother that he had seen death, and that death was like a blue bird. But when he opened his mouth, he couldn't utter a sound. 2 days later, the boy was discharged from the hospital. He was healthy, but he couldn't speak at all. The doctor said that he needed to wait a little and he would speak again. At home, the boy took a piece of paper and a blue pencil and tried to draw death, but he couldn't do it. "What is it?" Mom asked, looking at the drawings. "This is death," the boy wanted to say. "It looks like a blue blind bird with a big beak and legs that look like hands." But I couldn't say anything. The next day, the boy looked out of the window and screamed a little in fear. But instead of a scream, only a hiss escaped from his mouth. Then the boy ran to his mother, brought her to the window and pointed to the sky. "See," he wanted to shout, "the sky has the same color as the blue bird." But Mom was looking at the sky and didn't understand anything, and the boy couldn't tell her anything. The next day, the boy saw a bird with a huge blue beak on a tree outside the window. But when he showed the bird to his mother, she again did not understand anything. But still, the mother realized that the boy was afraid of something and called a doctor. When the doctor came home, the boy just looked at him and ran to his room. The doctor had thin, long arms like a spider. In the evening, the boy's dad came home from work and he had blue blind eyes. Those eyes looked at the boy and he realized that soon death would come to take him away. "I'll be lying in a coffin and a flower will grow in my mouth," the boy thought, "and I can't tell anyone about it." The boy went to his room, took a pen and a piece of paper and wrote, "Death is like a bluebird. Death is like a bluebird. Death is like a bluebird." But the blue ink merged with the blue color of the paper and the inscription disappeared. And then the door opened and a bluebird entered the room. It had long, thin legs that looked like hands with claws, a shapeless body without wings, and a round head with blind eyes and a huge beak. I should have broken the blue glass, the boy thought, and died.